Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and right now we have the fastest price crash in history. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to jump into a Zillow article that essentially goes into that. And I understand, you guys, we can't really trust Zillow, and they've lost tremendous amounts of credibility, but nevertheless, they still are a data provider. And I find it sometimes important because if Zillow's saying that we have record price crashing, then you can guarantee we have record price crashing because they're overly optimistic and hate talking about what's really going on in the housing market. And after that, you guys, I'm going to pull up some Fed economic data charts, Case-Shiller charts, and I'm going to show you guys with various sources of data that we are actually in the fastest price crash in United States history right now, without unemployment, without hypersupply, without foreclosures, which means the housing market bubble that we're in right now was printed. It was printed with the COVID money, right? Through COVID, through lockdowns. They crippled us in the lockdowns. The demand continued, supplies went down, and they printed the money. This is a printed fake housing market bubble, and it is crumbling at historical paces. And why people can't see that, I don't know. We have so many indicators. The great thing, though, guys, is we no longer have to be defensive. This time last year, this is my 1 year anniversary almost. I've been doing this like 1 year and like a few days. But I remember 1 year ago, we didn't have the data. All I had was my heart. I had my experience. I had like, okay, you know, house prices aren't supposed to go up this much, right? But now we don't have to play defense. What we have to do now is worry about ourselves and finding and understanding what a great deal is. Now, if you guys can't understand, I'm not a financial advisor, even though my bio is someone that loves you and I love helping people. And thank you for growing this channel with me. I can't tell you how much that means to me, but I'll try. It means a lot, you guys. It means a lot. And if you guys can, please, for all of the effort, for all of the love, for everything I'm trying and attempting, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, shoot me a comment below because you guys know that I love hearing from you. But either way, the name of the article that we're going to read from Zillow is titled December 2022 Case-Shiller Results and Forecast Steady Decline. So we're going to go over this, guys, and don't worry, I will pull up the Case-Shiller as soon as I'm done reading this. Few bullet points. Let me zoom in so we can see this a little bit better. All right. So few bullet points is the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller U.S. National Home Price Average rose 5.8% year over year in December, not seasonally adjusted, but down from 0.76% in November. So they're still holding on to the 5.8% year over year growth. Now, obviously, you guys, here's the thing with Case-Shiller. A lot of people lean on Case-Shiller, but it is one of the biggest lagging indicators of what's happening right now. So that's why I really don't reference it. But now that we have like months of data that is showing price decline, it's going to become more relevant. But we had to wait, you know, till like right now to really start getting this data when, our channel, Real Estate Mindset, was talking about it, from the beginning of last year. So that's why you really can't lean on stuff like this. And they're still saying that, that year over year growth, but it is what it is. Now, second bullet point, annual growth was lower in December compared to November in both the 20 city index and the 10 city index. Annual growth was slower in December than November in all markets. That's crazy. In all markets, no market is going to escape untouched, right? Different markets will have different home price decline, but it's going to react differently depending on your market, especially, I'm watching Miami. Miami is blowing my mind. The demand is just so high. The migration is just so high in Miami. This goes on. Home prices fell again in December, but levels are still higher than a year ago. See their over-optimism, you guys? You see their over-optimism, Zillow? Stop it, Zillow. Stop your cheerleading. Stop your cheerleading. Buyers and sellers ended the year on a discouraging note, with sales declining as mortgage rates soared, new listings sputtering out, and active inventory pulling up as homes are spending longer on the market. January brought about some new energy, okay? January brought some new energy because of the lower rates, right? The rates were actually slightly under 6% for some people to the market as mortgage rates drifted down, boosting buyer demand enough to possibly slow the cool down in prices in the beginning of the year. But as rates are back up in February, as a result of that, right? If the people wouldn't have went back buying, we probably wouldn't be at 4% treasury, 7% residential mortgage rates. But they did. They went out. They bought overpriced houses. They're fighting the Fed. All these people fighting the Fed. It's crazy. It's likely that any momentum in this market will be short-lived. So what this means right here, you guys, is all of the realtors on YouTube that some people watch are going to flip once again. This means flip, flop, flip, flop. So we're going to start seeing realtor channels come out with the housing market is crashing videos that want to get your business because they want you to trust them and they want your leads and they want your business. And that is why I'm not representing anyone. It's more important to me, the trust and the credibility, than making a quick dollar. I'm not just, well, it's a lot of money in real estate, but regardless, you guys see my point? So watch and mark my words. You guys are going to start seeing these realtors flip once again. But remember this, they're glorified cheerleaders, as evident in the flip-flopping and the lead generation, right? And they're supposed to be cheerleaders. They sell houses. They sell you, right? To buy. That's their job. Although it shouldn't be. Their job should be providing data, explaining what a great deal is. Anyway, let's go down here to the forecasting. And I just want to show you, we're basically comparing to what Zillow forecasted. Okay, so this right here, this column right here is Zillow forecasting. This column here is Case-Shiller. And again, Case-Shiller is lagging, you guys. You know, a lot of people, like myself included, I don't use Case-Shiller. It's too lagging. But let's just see how Zillow did. So Zillow estimated a 0.2 increase in the 10-city composite month over month. But because that's what Zillow does, they stay overly optimistic, even in the face of all of the data, right? Even though they're a data provider, they stay optimistic. It isn't... I hope people see this, but the reality is instead of going up 0.2%, it actually went down 0.4% on the 10-city composite month over month. Now, year over year, they estimated 5.3 growth. We ended at 4.4, again, according to Case-Shiller. We're obviously, you know, with other data providers like Redfin, that's not what it shows. Now, 20-city composite, again, overly optimistic with Zillow at 0.2. The reality was it was 0.5 decline. So again, decline. So pretty much all of these categories, Zillow was off. Here's the 20-city composite. They said growth 5.6. The reality was it was 4.6. U.S. national month over month, they were like, let's just go 0. Let's be safe. But the reality is it was down 0.3. So what we're seeing on this side is you can't trust Zillow. We just can't trust Zillow. Zillow is just cheerleading. They're a glorified cheerleader with data influence. And that's dangerous. They have data influence, interactive charts, and people love that stuff. But the problem is they're cheerleading people because they need to generate leads, right? I hope you guys see that. U.S. national year over year, they said 6.4, ended 5.8. So again, you can't trust them. You really cannot trust Zillow. All right, guys, so here's the Case-Shiller. And really what I want to point out here is this is the last decline right here, okay? This is basically the last decline right here. It kind of balanced out right here. So about 3 years of decline. I just want to point out we had 3 years decline and 3 years recovery. Not equity growth. So 3 years decline, 3 years recovery the last time. But I also want to point out this. Look at the steepness of the decline. All right. Do y'all see that? Move that. Look at the steepness of this decline right there. This decline that we're experiencing right now, if you look at this steepness, again, let me zoom in. Okay. If you looked at the trajectory, this decline here is historic. We've never had this type of decline in the history of the United States. So if you're talking to people with the narrative that everything's going to be okay, ask them, what about the historical price decline on multiple data sources and multiple data points? How do you explain that? And the thing is, guys, they won't accurately be able to explain that because most, these people don't care. They don't care to learn. What do they care about? The profit. They care about making money, right? They have to sell. And that's the reality of the situation, but that's Case-Shiller. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the median sales price of existing homes according to Fred, okay? And I just really, you guys, again, I just want to point out, okay, this is crazy. Now, this is a relatively new, let me move my picture here. This is a relatively new chart. It only goes back to 2022, but let's point out, again, different data source. Okay, this is just median sales price. This is updated on a monthly basis. Here's where we peaked. All right, that was our peak. Now, that peak was around June, and we peaked at 413K. Okay, That's where we peaked. Again, this is just a different source of data. We have historical equity crashing right now. Now, if we fast forward to right now, to today, we're at 359. Okay. So from June to right now, we've lost, you guys ready? 50. Okay. So we've lost, all right, $54,000, 54,800. That's where we're at off peak. That's historic. That's historic, you guys. You want to know what that represents according to Fred? Okay. You ready for this? That represents 13.2% decline. Pretty messy. I'm looking at these notes right now, you guys, but I think you guys are getting the point. And the point is now we have the data. Before, we only had various data, groups that were spelling out the historical equity crash. But right now, we have pick a data source. The cat's out of the bag. And not only is it out of the bag, I don't think people are understanding the severity of the house price crashes or the speed in which it is crashing. When they should, it's worse than last time. The price crashing is worse than last time. Why aren't we talking about this more, right? Why isn't it like deep in mainstream media? It's absolutely crazy to me. But either way, you guys, let me bring up a few more charts. All right, guys. So right here we have Fred, again, Fred Economic Data. Here's the median sales price of houses sold in the United States. But this is quarterly right here. I couldn't use the other one because they just started doing monthly for some reason. But here's our quarterly. And really what I want to point out is the decline last time. So again, you guys, remember right now we're at 13%, okay? So already in less than a year, we're at a loss of 13%. And again, less than 1 year, negative 13%, okay? Horrible handwriting, horrible grammar, horrible handwriting. I get it, you guys. But what I want to really show you is, okay, so here's the last bubble, okay, right here. So from basically right here, you guys, to let's say about right here, was the last, bubble and crash. All right. So in that pocket was the last bubble and crash. And I just want to point out the first year. So if we start right here at peak, okay. So in 2007, year one, the decline was only 7.3% in year one. Now in year two, which is 2018, the decline was 4.8%. Okay. Again, according to this data right here. So year one, 7.3 negative, year two, 4.8% negative. Yet right now we have a over 13% drop in less than 1 year. Do y'all see what's going on here? It's not real. It's not real. That's why we're crashing so quickly. And everyone is apparently blindsided. Everyone's like, it cannot crash. It's not like 2008. There's no foreclosures. There's no unemployment. There's not enough supplies. But the problem is, you guys, it can crash, and it is already without those things. So if we have any of those things, understand this crash could be way worse than the last one because we don't even have black swan events. We don't even have the unemployment, foreclosure, and any of that. We don't even have the hypersupply. And we have a record house price crash going on right now. The narratives out there in mainstream media, you guys, the narratives on YouTube with these realtor channels, and I'm not trying to knock them, but I am knocking the ones that are getting paid off of leading you off of a cliff, right? And the flip-flopping, you guys, I want you to pay attention to these flip-floppers. I want you to pay attention how they just switch their narrative with no care. So 1 minute they say it's a horrible time to buy. 2 weeks later they say it's the best time to buy. And if you don't buy now, it's going to be more unaffordable. And the problem with doing that is you're locked into your house the next 10 years. So probably the next 10 years. I'm just guessing it may not be 10 years, but if you buy right now or you bought in the last year, you're trapped. You're stuck for years and years and years. And if you need to sell, if you need to move, what are you going to do if you can't? What are you going to do if you can't sell your house? What are you going to do if you can't rent it? What's going to happen? You guys are stuck. You're not free anymore. You're bound to your mortgage payment. You're chained to your house. And that happened to me, and I lost everything, and it wasn't a good thing. And I got to watch for 9 years. I was depressed for 9 years. I watched other people become rich while I was forced on timeout because of my bad decisions. And I don't want you guys to make bad decisions. And really, that's my point, you guys. But other than that, I really appreciate you guys following along with me on my journey. If you are out there investing in real estate, you guys know I do wish you luck, and I hope you win.